About an extremely degenerate cop today that had a video surface with his behavior that's probably more embarrassing to the department than that cop that started going like G.I. Joe mode and just mag dumping after an acorn fell on his squad car. Officer Anthony Hare of the San Diego Pussy Department found himself in hot water after he was caught red-handed in the back seat with a female arrestee after she said she was down to fuck. So one can infer from the context here that they weren't back there playing any Magic the Gathering. They weren't having themselves a commander night. There was sin and semen that contaminated the vehicle. He laid down more than justice that night. He's since resigned, but you can scrub away the cum, but you can't scrub the video footage because it has surfaced. Not of him actually, doing the dirty deeds here, but of him being caught because he locked himself in the back seat and thus needed assistance. And speaking of assistance, I bet you need help drinking beverages in a better way. That's what this Moist GamerSupps Waifu Collab Cup is all about. It's still available for about one more week, so go ahead and get this puppy right now. It's the finest goblet you'll ever drink out of. I'll put a link to it in the description. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you the video here as we go over the more particular elements of the case. So there was an officer in San Diego. Here, I'll just play the video. You don't even need to read the breakdown. I'll just show you the video real quick.
Oh, you're not? Don't say that right now. No, I said don't say that right now because everything's being recorded right now.
So this opened my eyes to a problem that I talked about a lot. That cops have full control over when they can stop recording something. So he mentions right there, this woman's like, I'm super down to fuck. And Anthony, he's pitching a tent. He's like, oh. And he's like, wait, don't say anything because this is still recording right now. He hasn't had a chance to turn it off. But he does. He does get that chance.
What's going on?
So then he takes her down here, and then they slam ham, and he gets locked in the back seat of the car. So he pulls over here. He and this woman, they do the hanky-panky in the back seat of the police cruiser, and Goober's stuck. So then another officer gets to the scene to free him. In front of a house. Yeah, that was another thing. The place he pulls in front of is just a fucking house. Like, imagine, like, you see the police car pull up, you're like, oh god, what's happening out here? And then you see this officer fucking in the back seat of the car here. Like, he didn't even go anywhere secluded or anything. He literally just slabs up in front of this house. I also just learned a little, I guess a little hack here for police cars. You can open the back door with that. That's a little trick.
114 yellow. We're code 4. Everything just went wrong. Okay, hold on. Let me turn my camera off.
Isn't that fucking awful?
She's code 4? She's code 4. Okay. Yeah, let me turn this off real quick.
Wait, before you confess to all of the awful shit you just did right here, let me turn off my camera. So that way there's no evidence. You turned off your camera, right? Okay, good, just making sure. That's so dumb. If you can just turn it off whenever, it's so fucking stupid. Typically it was like, oh, the camera malfunctioned, but here it's just like, wait, let me turn this off. Like, what's the point? No, he got fired. Or resigned or whatever. His claim is that he was just checking on her and that everything went wrong. You can see him like saying like everything just went wrong. I was just being such a gentle sir. I went back there to make sure everything was okay. I moonlight as a gynecologist and she was having a medical emergency with throbbing pussy syndrome and I went back there and one thing leads to another, I'm stuck in the back seat. And now you're probably getting the wrong idea about what happened here. It was totally professional. The seaman was there earlier from a different suspect. You should have seen this fucking maniac. This degenerate was jerking off in the back seat and fucking blowing loads all over the place. It's not my seaman. And if you can trace it to me, it's because it's because he got some of my hair. He got some of my DNA. Oh, he was looking for contraband. So true. Keeping the streets safe. I was back there purely to make sure there were no drugs. She obviously planted the evidence on his belt. Now, the official explanation here from the source itself, Mr. Anthony Hare, says that he went back there because he believed that the woman was having a medical emergency. I'm actually inclined to believe Mr. Hare on this claim because I think there is a very high chance she was suffering a medical emergency. Cock withdrawals. This is a serious medical condition. In fact, it claimed the life of one of my buddy's grandmothers when we were growing up. She actually passed away from wiener withdrawals. If left unattended, the symptoms can be severe and even life-threatening. So Mr. Hare was just following his code to the letter. Protect and serve. Penis. And he didn't want to do it. Brother is a hero. He shouldn't be forced to resign over a misunderstanding. He should have been given the key to the city, I'd say. This whole thing is a classic example of it's not what it looks like, you know. He did what he had to do in the moment. And then, if we go back to the explanation, it all makes perfect sense. When he was getting out of the car, it accidentally knocked his body camera off, which is just a pure coincidence that the body camera, went dark after she had made the statement about being down to have sex and after him mentioning that the body camera was recording things. It's just really just unfortunate timing that he happened to have knocked the body camera off and it went dark right after those things had been said. But it could happen to anybody. According to the other officer, Mr. Hare was pretty embarrassed, refusing to elaborate on exactly what was happening and why he needed him out there and why he was asking about like a master key to the vehicle and stuff like that. And the woman was also, interviewed by investigators, and she claimed that he had asked for her number and to meet up when she was released from jail, saying he wanted to get with me when I was done with the warrant or whatever I got arrested for. She told investigators there was never any sexual contact between her and Mr. Hare. Really? You sure about that? What happened? Was there ejaculation showers that night? Why did he have cum on him? Where was that? Did someone drive by and throw in a cum potion? How did that happen if there was no sexual contact? But who am I to question the official story, I suppose? One thing I would like to see a little bit more elaboration on is why the officer who showed up told him to stop talking so he could turn off his body cam and they continue the conversation. That's a little weird, right? If it was all just a big misunderstanding, wouldn't you want that on record so you could clear up all of the misconceptions about it? That just seems a little suspicious. I just think it's super dumb that at any point in time an officer can just turn off their body cam and that doesn't lead to a lot of questions about why. I don't know, that just rubs me the wrong way. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of it, really. I wonder how often this happens. Probably more often than you'd think, I guess. I would guess. You remember, I actually made a video on this one a year ago. There was a cop who slabbed up in front of a school. I think it was a high school. And had a woman come into his police cruiser so they could fucking clap cheeks. So that way they could steam ham together in the backseat of his police cruiser in front of the school. And then he would kick her out. So they were having an affair and they do it in front of a school. So it probably happens a lot. In general, is it illegal to have sex in a car? That's a really good question. I'm gonna Google it. Because I think it would count as public indecency or something, right? Wouldn't it, if you got caught? But you can have sex in a car in your garage or something. If it's on private property and not in public. I think you just have to be out of view of the public. Generally, it is illegal to have sex in public if a reasonable person believes that someone will see them. Therefore, if you do not have reasonable expectation of privacy and you decide to have sex in your car, you could be brought up on criminal charges. Yeah. So you can if it's not in public view. So somewhere private. Which makes sense. Makes membership pricky. Though I like the idea that there's just a blanket illegality to it. Like having sex in a car will have you in jail no matter where you do it. So like you park your car in your garage, you fuck your wife or whatever, and then all of a sudden sirens are blaring like, get the fuck out! Get off the ground! We know what you just did here! You're going to the slammer! Having sex in a car! Have you no decency? If you fuck in your car in the garage, do you leave it running? Educational question. I guess it depends on how long you last. If you're a one-pump chump, you could probably get away with leaving your car on, but if you actually go for a while, like maybe there's a carbon monoxide risk, potentially. I guess it depends on how long you do it. I would say you'd probably want to turn your car off just to be safe. You could at least leave the electrical on and have the air blowing. Probably don't need the whole car on. If you die mid-nut, will the semen that comes out still be viable? I don't see why not.